Hello and welcome to your 4-week Vinyasa for Sirsasana course. So Sirsasana is the Sanskrit name for the amazing and beautiful yoga pose headstand. It's often a pose that is synonymous with yoga practice and one that many yoga practitioners strive to do and often struggle to make progress with, because the truth is that a group class is not always the best environment to practice inversions. Obviously, you're worried about falling in public, but also that it might not be safe. You might be too close mat to mat with another student to be confident that you're not going to fall in to anyone else and either hurt yourself or them. The technique that underpins headstand is really important to master, because done incorrectly, headstand can put an enormous amount of strain on the neck. And the neck vertebrae have not been built or designed for weight bearing. They've been built for mobility. The whole kind of neck musculoskeletal area is designed so that we can move our head around really dynamically. It is not designed to lift weights on, which our body weight would count as. So in this 4-week course, we will look in detail at the technique that underpins headstand, and we'll be looking at different transitions and ways into the pose so that you can come in and out with complete control and grace. And really that's what we're looking for from all yoga poses, whether they're inversions or standing postures or supine lying postures. We're looking to be able to enter the poses, to transition in with grace and ease, where our breath, the ujjayi breathing, is uninterrupted. So let's look a little bit more at the kind of psychological, energetic aspects of the pose. This is something that I'm really passionate about, is that yoga poses are not just party tricks, although headstand's a pretty good party trick. Headstand, to my mind, along with the other category of inversion poses, is all about overcoming your fear of falling, which we can take literally. No one wants to fall flat on their back. But also, this is something that we can take more metaphorically into our off-the-mat life. A fear of falling or a fear of failing often holds us back. And in building the strength and the courage and the confidence to pursue poses that might be felt as intimidating or scary, will strengthen your psyche and your nervous system to be able to overcome challenges and make maybe fear-inducing steps in life off the mat. Headstand, along with other inversions, also turn our world upside down, and being able to look at the world from a very different position, i.e. upside down, can also really help us to shake things up a little bit, to not be so stuck in our head, looking at the same set of problems the same way. You will find that when you come into these inversion poses and you find a way of slowly breathing, you'll get used to seeing the world upside down. And I think that can just shift our mindset and allow us to be a little bit more open-minded and a bit more free in the way that we're looking at what's going on for us in our lives. So we'll be looking psychologically and spiritually at how to overcome fears, how to change our perspective, and how to find courage and strength within, as well as physically and anatomically within the body. In terms of the pressure rule in headstand, the basic premise that this course relies on is that 90% of your weight needs to be held within the upper body, so the shoulders, the arms, the core. 10% of the weight goes through the head in headstand. And so this series that I've developed basically builds the upper body strength and the core strength, as well as lower body flexibility, so that when you transition into the pose, you're not leaning on the head and therefore incurring pressure through the neck vertebra. Each week, the class will be structured the same way. So if you're watching this course or practicing this course on demand in your own time, if you're short on time or your energy levels or mood just dictates that you fancy one part of the class and not the other, you can zoom through the class and just access the bit of the practice that you have time for, that you want to do that day. As with anything, little and often is better than one intense burst. So I'd rather you took 15-minute segments of this class and did it every day across a week than that you did once a week for 60 minutes. So the structure of these classes each week will be, the first 15 minutes will be an introduction and some preparatory or isolation poses. drills, if you like, for headstand. Then the second 15 minutes will be sun salutation. So building flow, building warmth in the body in a muscular sense, but also connecting to our breath, which as with all poses, but especially inversion poses, is the engine of the pose. It's the energy that allows you to transition gracefully and with power. The third 15-minute segment will be the main body of our flow. This is a vinyasa-based course. So we'll be building that strength and technique through flowing transitions. And each week, the sequence will be a little bit different, but building on the week previous. And the final section of 15 minutes will be the closing section where we release muscular tension, where we build strength, and we'll also attend to meditation, mindfulness practices, and breathing practices that will facilitate your mind being in the right mental alignment for inversions, and also as a wind down from the work that you've done in the class. Keep practicing each session or each week session as you go through the course. So rather than dumping for week one class after week one, it's really good to revisit week one's class in week 2, 3, and 4, and so on. And you're welcome to keep practicing these classes until you nail headstand. And I really hope that this is supportive on your journey to achieving headstand posture. Do you remember that the focus, the glory is not in achieving the end point of the pose, it's the journey there. So my hope is that you enjoy this process and that you don't berate yourself if you don't get headstand the first week or even the fourth week, but that you enjoy the journey and the process along the way. So let's start with our isolation practices. So for this week's class, it would be helpful if you have a yoga belt. You might want 2 bricks and a block, but the most essential thing is this yoga belt at the beginning here. If you don't have a yoga belt to hand, you can also use a bathrobe belt or a jeans belt and use that, or you can just hold on to the back of your leg. So let's get started. So come on down to a lying position on the ground, have your yoga belt within arm's reach and place it just to the side of the mat. As you lie back, draw the back of your skull away behind you and draw your chin's crease in towards your throat and your neck. Now, this first week session, we're looking primarily at building flexibility in the shoulder joint and in the back chain of the body. And by the back chain of the body, I mean the whole way from the back of your neck, down the back of the spine, down the back of the legs, towards the soles of the feet. Our transition into headstand is easier when we've got more mobility through the back of the body and more of an ability to tilt the pelvis. So as you come to semi-supine, which is where you're lying flat down on the ground, both of your knees bent, feet on the floor below your bum. Walk out your shoulder blades so the shoulder blades, the scapula, are spread wide and heavy on the mat. Slide your head backwards so your chin's crease drops down towards your throat. Mouth closed, begin to tune into Ujjayi breathing, where you're brushing the breath along the back of your throat. For a few precious moments of stillness at the beginning of the practice, take in the sounds around you, listening without strain or effort to the smallest sounds. Tune into the sound and the feeling, the vibration of breath, Ujjayi breathing, as you brush the breath along the back of the throat. With the Ujjayi breathing, we hug the glottis, the muscles at the back of the throat, with the chin's crease slightly tucked down so that we can create more warmth and humidify and create more back pressure through the back of the throat when breathing. And this creates an oceanic sound. Let's breathe out so we're all at the same point together in the breath. And then as you breathe in nice and slowly, allowing your belly to expand. Feel your ribcage widen. Allow your chest bones to lift high towards your throat and hold the inhalation for 3, 2, and 1. Then open the mouth wide, stretching your jaw, making a ha sound like you're fogging up a mirror in front of the face. Breathe out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and pause. Inhale again, breathing in for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the breath in for 4, 3, 2, and 1. As you exhale, breathe out through the mouth with a big ha sound for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and pause. Continue in your own time now, generally breathing in for the count of 4 and out for 6 or 8. And by breathing this way with a longer exhale to inhale ratio, you're stimulating the parasympathetic side of the nervous system, which is the down-regulating side of the nervous system. It's very important when we're practicing towards inversion-based postures that our nervous system is not in a high-stress state, because we're more likely to injure ourselves or hurry or miss technique when we're stressed or rushing. So taking this moment to down-regulate and calm the nervous system is really critical to prepare the mind to be mentally aligned for inversions. The breath will also allow you to come into the present moment, and it's in the present moment that we practice, not in the future, not thinking about to-do lists, not thinking about goals or ambitions, just staying in the body with the breath. Let's turn our attention to pelvic tilts now. So with your hands on your lower belly, as you breathe in, arch your tailbone down towards the ground. Your lower back will lift, and belly will arch up towards the sky, shoulders and head still flat. And as you exhale, breathe out through a small parting in your lips like you're blowing out a candle, and press your belly button and lower back down into the ground. Can you feel that the pelvis kind of rolls backwards like a bucket spilling behind you? As you inhale again, roll through the pelvis. Lift your belly up, feel the sacrum, that bony nodule at the back of the pelvis, drop down into the floor like a heavy weight. And as you exhale, breathe out through a small parting in the lips, pressing your belly button down, tilting the pelvis backwards as you squash your lower back towards the ground. Now continue with this, pelvic tilts forwards with the inhalation, lifting the lower back arch. Here you're stimulating the lower back muscles. And as you exhale, pressing the belly button down, contracting the front of the core, lengthening the lower back. And as you continue to rock with the breath, I want to draw your attention to how we might use the pelvic tilt in an inversion like headstand. So the lifting action in headstand requires this pressing down of the belly, a pelvic tuck backwards. And when you're preparing for your headstand, you'll want a slight forward tilt. So belly lifting, lower back arching in, and then pause at a halfway point between those two extremes. So there's just a tiny little lift in the lower back, and there's a feeling of tone and hug from the belly and from the lower back together. So you're holding the midline, the pelvis is in neutral. This is the position that we practice headstand in when we're actually in the posture. We want our lower spine to be in neutral, and both the front of the belly and the lower back muscles are squashing into the center of the spine. Notice that your pelvic floor muscles here are just slightly engaged as a feeling of lift in the perineum and the pelvic floor. Now keep that neutral spine as you elongate your legs down towards the ground straight. Hug your thighs together, keep the pelvis in neutral, keep a lift in the lower back, engagement of the abs, and then flex your feet for a moment, pressing your heels forward. Now bring your arms up to the ceiling and away behind your head, thumbs pressing into the floor, palms facing one another, and see if you can keep your pelvis in neutral. Now notice if that feels like a big stretch of the shoulders. If you need to bend the elbows at this point, then you're welcome to. Some people, just in terms of the shape of their shoulder joint, they do need a bit of a bend in their elbows, and that's okay. Or it might be that you've got a bit of tension in the upper traps. Now keep pressing through the heels forward to the front, keep hugging your thighs in, keep lifting the pelvic floor like 30%, and then hugging your belly down to your lower spine up towards your belly. Hold it there for 3. Keep breathing as you hold this position, taut for 2, and 1. Now keep the position, but point your toes forward. So you're stretching the front of the feet. See if you can keep that contraction at the front of the belly, the lift in the pelvic floor, the lift in the lower back. Keep stretching your hands actively away behind you to stretch your shoulders. Good, and then slowly release. Bring your arms all the way down towards the floor beside you. Bend your knees again, heels below your bum, feet hip distance apart. Bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Make sure the back of the neck is long and roll your belly down towards the floor so the pelvis tips backwards again. Press through the heels, the big toe mound, little toe mound, and lift your hips up into bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. You'll feel the muscles at the back of the leg get strong. Then slowly inhale to bring your arms up to the ceiling and away behind your head. Keep lifting the hips. Keep pressing through the feet, the balls of the feet as well as the heels. And then elevate your heels away from the ground and roll down, feeling a gorgeous stretch through the upper shoulders and back. And try and peel one vertebra down at a time, all the way down towards the ground. And then let your pelvis drop, heels drop, and lower spine rebounds to neutral. Bring the arms down to the floor alongside your thighs, palms face down. Good, just take a breath to recover, and we'll do that one more time. Belly compresses down towards the floor. Lower back squashes into the mat. Keep pressing through the heels and the balls of the feet as you roll the hips up into bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. As you press through the feet, keep the contraction at the back of the legs and glutes. Inhale to lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Good. This time, thumbs to the ground, palms face one another. Keep reaching through the arms, but without squeezing your neck with your shoulders. Then lift your heels away from the ground and roll down vertebra by vertebra, coming all the way down onto the ground. Good job. And then be present to feel the spine rebound into neutral as the heels drop. And then bring the arms down towards the floor alongside your legs. Good job. Let's grab the strap. Take your right foot into the strap near the ball of the foot and lift your leg up to the ceiling. One hand on each strap. You can either keep your lower left leg bent or straighten it down to the floor. Press the heel up to the ceiling, pull down with the strap, shoulders heavy, and slightly tuck your chin's crease in. So we're aligning the neck, the skull, the shoulder blades. As you press up through the heel, we're looking to feel a stretch through the back of the leg. But then in addition, I want you to see if you can still maintain neutral in your pelvis. So lift your lower back arch away from the ground. Can you feel that tensions the hamstrings a little bit more? Now, being able to be flexible and have mobility here at the back of the leg is helpful for an easier transition into headstand. If the back of the legs and glutes and lower spine are tight, you'll find that your dolphin pose is rounded. And that means that the shoulders then often collapse forward, meaning it's harder for you to transition into your headstand. So keep pressing the back of your bum into the floor. Flex both feet as you press your right heel high to the sky. Good. Take 2 more slow breaths. If you find this is a real challenge for you, this pose, if your leg is shaking, if you don't have so much flexibility at the back of the leg here, this would be a great pose to do before bed in the evenings or first thing in the morning, just to kind of gradually and incrementally build flexibility through the back chain of your body. Good. And then release the strap, just lay the right leg down to the ground next to the left, and you might already feel the difference between the right and the left side. Then bend both of your knees, feet towards the floor below your sit bones. Lift your left leg up into the strap near the ball of the foot. Flex the toes down towards the face. Make sure your shoulders are heavy, head heavy, chin's crease tucks down. Then option to slide your right leg forward on the mat, flexing both feet now. And then adjust the pelvis into neutral. So you're pressing the back of your bum into the ground to further traction the hamstrings and the glutes. Good. Take 3 to 5 slow breaths here, leaning into the exhale side. You're looking to feel quite a strong stretch through the back of the leg and glutes, but not a sharp sensation at the back of the knee. If you're feeling it there, then bend your knee or allow the leg to move away from the body a bit. Good. Keep adjusting your pelvis so it's still in neutral. And as you straighten your lower right leg on the ground and press through the heel, can you feel that that speaks to the core muscles, that the pelvic floor slightly lifts and your abdomen just tones around the spine? Good job. And then just slowly release the strap. Lay your left leg down towards the ground below your sit on the floor and relax. Hopefully both sides of the body feel equally soft and grounded now. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Hug the knees in towards your body. Straighten your right leg forward to the front. Hold the back of the right thigh and lengthen your left leg towards the floor straight. Hover your left heel off the ground and then reach both arms either side of your right leg. And as you exhale, breathe out through a small parting in your lips and lift your nose towards your front knee. Hold it there for 3, for 2, and for 1. And then slowly lay your spine back down. Switch over the legs. Hold the back of the left leg. Hover your right heel just a millimeter off the ground. Flex both feet. And then looking towards your knee, but keeping the space of an apple between your chin and your chest. Reach your arms forward dynamically and actively. Holding here for 3, for 2, and for 1. Good job. Then bring both of your knees in towards your chest. Well done. Now lift both legs up towards the ceiling. Flex both of your feet. Take your hands onto your hip bones, elbows and shoulders heavy. Draw your chin's crease down towards your throat and your neck, so there's no tension in your neck at all. And then slowly lower your right heel, keeping the legs straight, and hover the right heel just off the ground. Hold it there for 3. Splitting the legs, right heel hovering, left heel pushing up for 2. And 1, and then inhale, point the right toe and bring it right back up towards the left. Then slowly exhale, maybe blowing out through the small parting in the lips as you lower your left heel slowly with control towards the floor. Hover the left heel just a millimeter off the ground and gently drawing your shoulders down, head down, chin's crease down. Hold here for 3. Lift in the pelvic floor for 2. And for 1. Good. And then point the toe and come all the way back up. Once more each side. Exhale, breathing out through a small parting in the lips. Lower your right heel with control. Split the legs. Hold here for 3. Keep flexing the right heel, pressing it forward as you hold. For 2, feel the challenge in the core and the hip flexors, the muscles at the front of the hip into the leg. And 1, and then point the toe and bring your right leg back up towards the ceiling. And then again, left heel moves forward and down, and then hover here for 3. Feel the embrace of the pelvic floor lifting, the core muscles engaging. 2, keep your head soft, neck soft, and 1. And then pointing the toe, lift your left leg up to meet the right. Now both heels come down halfway. Now if you're finding this is too strong for your lower back, try bending your knees, tabletop the legs. Otherwise, hold halfway down. Keep pressing your heels forward. You're making a kind of L shape with the legs for 3, for 2, and 1. Point both toes, lift them back up above your hips. And arms overhead, press the back of the hands into the floor. Flex your feet, both legs halfway down. Hold here for 3. Keep pressing through the back of the arms. Hold here for 2. Now, can you bring your lower back into neutral? Lift in the lower back, lift in the pelvic floor. 1, and then point the toes and lift the legs back up. Well done. And then a little bit lower if you can. Flex your feet, keep the arms overhead. Come to halfway, maybe come to 3/4 of the way to the ground. Hold here for 3. Fine if your body is shaking. Hold here for 2. And 1. Good job. And then bring both feet back up. 1 last time. Flex the feet. Lower your heels forward and down. Keep the legs straight if you can. 3/4 of the way down. Hold here for 3. But this time point the toes. Hold for 2. Keep pressing the back of the arms and the shoulders into the ground for 1. Well done. And then bring both of your knees in towards your chest. Great job. Curl your knees in towards your chest, your bum and your spine lifts off the ground, and then use that curve to rock all the way up through to sit. Well done, good job. Now grab hold of your strap or your bathrobe belt. Hold it so that your hands are a little bit wider than shoulder distance. You could be kneeling or sitting cross-legged, whichever you prefer. And then as you inhale, lift both of your arms up towards the ceiling as you breathe in. As you exhale, make sure your upper body is in neutral. So rather than flaring the ribs like that, dipping the lower back, find neutral spine here where both lower back and belly are hugging together. As you exhale, pull the elbows out wide to the side and slip the strap towards the nape of the neck. This should give you a good stretch across the front of the chest, front of shoulders. Inhale to lift your arms back up, pulling the strap towards. 3 more. Exhale to lower. Keep neutral in the spine. Keep that core engagement, belly and lower back pressing together. And inhale to elevate the arms again. Good job. 2 more times. Exhale to lower down. Keep pulling the strap apart from the center. Inhale to lift up. And again, exhale to pull the strap down. and inhale to lift up. Now you might want to continue with this. And just a short and quick note to explain, everyone's shoulder anatomy might mean that their arm stops overhead at different points. So depending on how much range of motion you have within the skeletal structure of your shoulders might indicate how far your arm moves back. Now, if it's soft tissue, if it's muscle that's restricting your arm movement and your shoulder movement overhead, we're going to see some change in that as we build flexibility through this class and throughout this course. However, if you lift your arm and you get this feeling of stop from the top or the back of the shoulder, that means more likely it's structural that's stopping you. In which case your arm, you don't want to keep pushing your arm further than it naturally wants to go. But either way, honoring where your body wants to naturally stop, lift your arms overhead and keeping the arms straight and the strap pulled taut. See if you can bring your arms a little bit further back behind you to really open up the chest. But see if you can do this without flaring the front of the body forward like this. Instead, keep your belly engaged, keep the pelvic floor lifted, keep lower spine in neutral, and bring your arms a little bit further back behind your head until you get more mobility, more stretch where you need it. If you want, you can take the arms a little bit wider on the strap. So lengthen out the strap till it's a little bit longer, and that might give you more range of motion. You can go back to wherever you need to stop. So don't necessarily copy the range of motion that I've got here. Just go to where you feel a good stretch through the pecs, the chest muscles, and the front of the shoulders, the inner armpits. And then exhale, bring it back through to center, still pulling the strap taut. Let's do that 3 more times. Linking with breath. Inhale to bring your arms back, opening across the chest and the shoulders. Exhale, bring it forward. I call this a kind of shoulder flossing exercise. It's just like flossing the teeth. We're just lubricating the shoulder joints, clearing blockages away from the gliding action in the shoulders. And then slowly release. And twice more. Inhale, reach back. Remember not to flare the front ribs. Keep your abdomen slightly contracting. And then come forward. And one more time, lift arms up and overhead and back. Amazing. And then come forward and down. Let's just do a little bit of side to side action, not our main focus for today, but just feels nice. So bring the arms up overhead, pull the strap taut, and then move your upper body over towards the right side into a kind of half moon curve. Pull the left hand away from the strap. Keep pulling and pulling. Good. And then come back through to center and arch your body over towards the left. That's it. Gorgeous. And then pull the strap, the right hand strap up and away. Keep pulling right hand against the strap. Good. And that should just open up a bit more space around your ribs. Really nice for good breathing, but also just nice for that rotational capacity in the shoulders. Okay. Let's come into child's pose. So toes together, knees wide towards the sides. Tilt your pelvis forward from here. So stick your bum out behind you, sit bones move backwards, and kind of lengthen your pubic bone parallel to the mat. Then walk your fingertips forward like you're cupping tennis balls under the hands. And that might be enough. That might give you a nice release through the inside of the legs and maybe a moderate stretch around the glutes. You'll notice that in this raised position of child's pose, the pelvis is a little bit more in neutral. So this is a great way of just lengthening lower back, top of glutes. Really helpful if you have a tendency to slouch or you've got tension in the lower back. Then we can come into spinal flexion where we allow the spine to round a bit, but try and keep your pelvis tipping forward still. Lay your chest forward and down towards the ground, lengthening your rib cage as far to the front as you can as your bum pulls backwards. You're still shining your sitting bones backwards behind you. So you're still keeping your pelvis in neutral as your spine drops down towards the ground and comes into a gentle flexion, which is a gentle rounded shape, like a pebble on the beach. Take 3 breaths here, drawing the breath into the back lobes of the lungs. And as you exhale, notice that you build a little bit more strength in the core muscles and the pelvic floor. And as you breathe in, you create more length and space in the spine. These isolations, these kind of preparatory postures are so important so that our body is well positioned to come into the postures with freedom and ease. If you like, these preparatory poses not only build strength for the main peak pose, which is headstand, they also undo habitual tension patterns within the body. So we're coming into the practice with like a neutral slate, if you like. Okay, and then slowly lift yourself up. I'm just going to take this top off. So I've got bare forearms. For our next posture, dolphin pose, it's useful to have skin on the mat. So if you've got a long sleeve top or a jumper on, you might want to pull up the sleeves or take it off so that you've got a little bit of kind of connection between the skin and the yoga mat. Take the forearms down to the floor. Your elbows want to be shoulder distance apart, so you can measure that by doing that on the yoga mat. Then interlace the fingers, tuck your lower little finger in. So the outside rim of both little fingers is down on the ground. Then move your knees behind your elbows. From here, keeping your head off the ground, press the outer blade of the wrist into the floor, and immediately can you feel your deltoid, your shoulders, begin to push backwards. That is more than enough to be focusing on in today's practice by way of strength building. So very often when we come into headstand, if you just let your shoulders slouch and relax, you'll feel that the front of the shoulder head, I'm going to call it, rolls forward. That's the reason a lot of people turn their headstand into a roly-poly or struggle to find strength, because they're not pushing the shoulder down away from the neck and the ear. And that pushing action actually begins at the base outside of the wrist. So as you press the outside of the wrist into the floor, can you feel that presses the shoulder heads backwards? Now, you can either stay there with the knees on the ground, really pushing the outer blade of the wrist down, really pressing your shoulders down away from your neck or your ears. Or if you want to add in more load, then you tuck your toes and lift your bum up to the ceiling. So your lower body is doing a downward dog, but your forearms are down, your head is off the floor. This is dolphin pose. If your knees need to be bent and your heels lifted, that's totally fine, because our focus is on shoulder mobility. And I want you to really push your chest far back towards your legs. Keep pressing your chest and your ribs back towards your legs. You can look down towards your knees or your feet. Head is off the ground, squashing base of wrist into floor, outer blade of wrist into floor. Keep pressing, hold it here for 10. 9, keep the breath smooth and steady. 8, 7, 6, 5, keep pressing, ribs back to knees. 4, 3, keep pressing the outer blade of the arms and wrists down, shoulder heads down towards the armpits. 2, and 1, well done, and drop the knees. Good, let's add in revolved child's pose to release from that. Left hand forward, right arm underneath your left armpit, lay the right cheek onto the ground or into a block. And take a big breath, allowing the shoulders to feel a nice stretch and release. And then come back through to center, right hand forward, left arm underneath your right armpit, lay your left cheek and the outer blade of the left arm down into the floor. And send your breath into the back lobes of your lungs. Good job. And then come back through to center. All right, let's come up into sun salutations. So with the toes tucked, knees underneath your hips. You might want to recruit your 2 yoga blocks here, especially if this is the first downward dog, or if you know your hamstrings are a little bit tighter. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back behind you into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. Good, just stay there for a moment, lengthening the heels towards the floor, maybe spreading and lifting the toes, and find that neutral pelvis now. So tilt your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Good. And again, if you're noticing that the back of the legs are a bit tight, you're welcome to bend the knees. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs, which is building that shoulder mobility and the strength. This is a primary inversion. Notice your head is below your heart. So just allow there to be that pressure in the head, which is something that we need to get used to for inversions. Good job. And then slowly walk your feet forward towards the hands. Feet hip distance apart, which is about 2.5 fist distance between your feet. Hold onto your elbows and like a gorilla, just sway side to side. Again, if you're finding this is quite a strong stretch through the back of the legs, feel free to bend the knees. And then drop your right hand between your legs, fingertips down or on a brick, and lift your left arm up, finding a bit of rotation. Good, and then drop the left hand down, reach your right arm up, find a bit more rotation there. Make sure your left hip crease is pushing back. Good, and then come down, and then bending your knees, roll up really slowly all the way to stand. Good job. Squeeze your shoulders towards your neck and your ears, and then roll it down. So here, Tadasana mountain pose, feet hip distance apart, arms alongside you. Spin your biceps outwards, your upper inner arm muscles outwards. Turn your palms back towards your legs and pull your ring finger down towards your heels so the chest lifts. So here we're finding posture that supports inversions. As you slightly bend your knees, press through the heels so your pelvis lifts into neutral. So you're neither sticking the bum out behind you nor are you tucking underneath. You're finding a neutral position and pressing through the heels. Now shoulders, if we have a tendency, might be rolling forward. So lift your arm bones and slide them back to the sides of the rib cage. Then bring your arms up towards the ceiling, palms face one another, bend your elbows, clasp the hands like we had it in dolphin pose, and wrap the elbows forward to point towards the front. So the elbows are shoulder distance like this. Now you're doing basically headstand, but with the right way up, without the inversion component. So now step your feet together, squeeze your thighs to touch, press through the heels, and imagine lifting the elbows up into the ceiling. Hold it there without flaring the ribs, without sticking the bum out, holding neutral in the lower body. Hold it here for 3, for 2, loosen the neck, no tension in your neck, 1, good, and then release, swing the arms down. Let's come into sun salutations, feet together, unless you have SI joint dysfunction or just need a wider stance. Inhale to bring your arms up to the ceiling, open chest, find neutral spine. As you exhale, forward fold, hollow the belly and bow your head down. Inhale to halfway lift, hands to your shins. Spine is level to the ground, neutral spine, belly and lower back pressed together. Exhale, forward fold. You can wrap your arms around the back of the legs or take your fingers to the floor outside of the feet and drop your head. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your chest, press through the legs, swing the arms forward and up. And again, as your arms come overhead, find neutral spine, bend your elbows, fingers tap the back of your neck as you lift your elbows up high, but don't let the front ribs flare forward. Then straight back into your half sun salutation, hollow the belly as you bow the head forward, breathing out. Inhale to halfway lift. Find neutral spine, strong back, shoulder blades push down your spine. Exhale, forward fold, arms around back of legs or hands to floor, outer feet. And then swing the arms forward and come all the way to stand, but don't go past neutral. Bend the elbows, palms together, fingers swing down towards the back nape of the neck. Good. One more time. Exhale, forward and down. Half sun salutation. Squeeze your thighs together, bow the head. Inhale to halfway lift, hands to the top of the shins, neutral spine. Exhale, forward fold, hollow the belly as you bow your head towards your shins. And then swing the arms forward, come all the way up to stand and dive the fingers back towards the nape of the neck. Lift the elbows up high, keep the ribs centered. And exhale, bring your hands into prayer, Samastitihi. Good. Now, sun salutation C. Step your feet out hip distance apart. Lift your arms and again, bend the elbows, swing the fingers back towards the nape of the neck. Exhale, forward fold, hollow the belly. Arms can wrap around the backs of the legs or hands to floor, outer feet. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, chest forward. Exhale, bring your hands onto the bricks or the floor. Step your left leg back, left knee down towards the ground into low lunge. Inhale to bring your arms up to the ceiling and then again away behind your head towards your palms towards the back nape of the neck. Exhale, bring your hands down to the bricks or the floor. Step back into downward facing dog pose. Inhale, come forward into high plank, body parallel to the ground. Pause here for a moment, lifting your pubic bone into the lower back. Drop the knees for this first one, bend your elbows, shoulder heads forward, come down as slowly as you can to build strength, point the toes. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, come onto all fours, tuck your toes, back into downward facing dog. Good. Inhale to lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee to chest, step your right foot through your hands, left knee down. Inhale to bring your arms up towards the ceiling, open up your chest. Exhale, bring your hands back towards the bricks or the floor at the front, feet hip distance. Inhale to halfway lift, open your chest forward. Exhale, hollow the belly and bow the head down. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up to the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana. Then bend your elbows again, palms pressed together and down to the nape of the neck, center the ribs. Exhale, bring the hands into prayer in the heart center, Samastitihi. Again, inhale, lift the arms up, bend your elbows, swing the hands to the back nape of the neck, but center the ribs. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the floor outside of feet or grab the back of the legs. Inhale to halfway lift, hands to the shins, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale, bring your hands to the ground. This time, right leg goes back, right knee to the floor into low lunge. Inhale to bring your arms up towards the ceiling, palms connect together, dive your hands down to the back nape of the neck. Exhale, bring your hands onto the bricks or the floor, slide your left leg back into downward dog. Inhale, come forward into high plank position, chest forward, heels back, armpits lift. Either drop the knees as before or chaturanga, come halfway down, pause, elbows, ribs on the same line. Either cobra as before or now upward facing dog, pressing into the front of the feet and push your shoulder heads right back behind you. Then roll over the front of the feet, back into downward facing dog. Left leg lifts this time. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest and step it through. Right knee comes gently down to the floor. Inhale, low lunge, lift your hands up towards the ceiling, open the chest, maybe the palms connect. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor, step your right foot forward, feet hip distance apart. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold, hollow the belly as you bow your head down. Reverse swan dive, come up to stand, palms pressed together, center the ribs as you dive your thumbs down towards the nape of the neck. And exhale, bring the hands into prayer position, Samastitihi. Let's do that again. Inhale, bring the arms up to the ceiling. You can add a moderate back bend if you want to there as you exhale, and bring the thumbs down to the nape of the neck. And exhale, forward fold, hands to the floor or around the back of the legs as you bow down. Inhale to halfway lift, chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor or the bricks and step your left leg back, left knee down into the ground into low lunge. Untuck the toe, inhale, bring your arms up towards the ceiling, maybe bend the elbows, thumbs dive down towards the back of the neck. Now tuck your back toe, add in pyramid pose, hands to the floor, straighten your front leg, back heel lifting and bow your head down to the shins to add that hamstring stretch. Bring your back left knee down, inhale to bring your arms back up, and again, hands to prayer, thumbs dive down to back of neck, and then hands to the ground. Slide your right leg back into downward facing dog. Inhale, make your way forward into high plank, heels back, heart forward, lift the armpits. Either knees drop or chaturanga halfway down. Press into the front of the feet. Take your back bend of choice. That can be cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over the feet back into downward facing dog pose. Inhale, lift your right leg away and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest. Step your right foot through, back left knee down to the floor. Inhale to lift your arms up, open your chest, thumbs dive down towards the back of the neck. As you exhale, bring the hands to the floor, pyramid pose, straighten the front leg, back heel stays lifted as you bow your head down towards the front shin. Bring your back left knee down to the mat. Inhale again, palms connect, thumbs dive down towards the back of the neck. Bring the hands forward to the front, framing front foot, left foot forward to the front, hip distance. Inhale to halfway lift, chest forward, tilt the pelvis up. Exhale, forward fold, bow the head back down. Slowly release, bringing your hands forward and up, Urdhva Hastasana, hands dive down towards the back of the neck, squeeze the elbows towards your head, shoulders soft. Exhale, bring your hands into prayer position, Samastitihi, last side. Inhale, bring your arms up, bend the elbows, palms pressed together, thumbs dive down towards the back of the neck, keep lifting the elbows high. As you exhale, forward fold, hollow the belly as you bow the head down towards your shins. Inhale to halfway lift, shoulders move back, chest forward. Exhale, bring your hands to the ground, step your right leg back, right knee to the ground, back toes tucked. Inhale to bring your arms up, palms connect together, thumbs dive down towards the back of the shoulders. As you exhale, bring your hands to the floor, straighten your front leg and your back leg and bow your head down towards the front shin, pyramid pose. Rebend your knees, back knee down to the mat. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead, palms connect, thumbs dive down to nape of neck. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat or the bricks. Step your left leg back into downward facing dog. Inhale forward into high plank. Stay with me, chest forward, heels back. Exhale with control, Chaturanga Dandasana. Press into the front of the feet, up dog or cobra. Shoulders move back away behind you. Exhale, roll over your feet, downward facing dog pose. Lift your left leg up towards the ceiling as you breathe in. Knee to chest, slide your foot forward towards the hands. Bring your back knee down, back toes stay tucked. Inhale to bring your arms up to the ceiling, palms connect together, dive the thumbs back towards the nape of the neck. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor, frame the front foot, lift your back knee, pyramid pose, dive your head down towards the front shin. Bend your back right knee to the floor. Inhale to bring your arms up overhead, thumbs dive down towards the back nape of your neck. Exhale to bring your hands to the floor, lift your back knee and step your back foot forward to the front, feet hip distance. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen the back of your neck. Exhale to forward fold, hollow the belly and just feel that inversion quality as the head drops below the heart. Good, bend your knees as you press to stand. Arms overhead or over Headstand. Bend the elbows, hands dive down towards the nape of the neck. Squeeze the elbows up to the ceiling. And then hands to prayer, Samastitihi. Good job, well done. Warming section complete. Utkatasana, chair pose. So sit low towards the ground with your legs together, or you could modify with your feet hip distance apart. Swing the arms up towards your ears and really work on your arm mobility so take the arms wider maybe so you can push the arm bones further back and then neutralize your lower spine. As you exhale, forward fold, hollow the belly and bow your head down. Inhale to halfway lift. Hands towards the shins, chest forward, shoulder blades back. As you exhale, bring your hands to the ground. Step both legs back into high plank position. As you exhale, lower Chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog or your cobra. Exhale, make your way back into downward dog, warrior one. Left heel flat towards the ground. Step your right foot forward, back heel down, toes point towards the front. And as you inhale, bring both of your arms up towards the ceiling. And here, imagine that you've got the strap between your hands still, and you're pulling the strap apart. Turn your palms backwards. Good. And as you lift your chest, reach the fingertips up as high as you can, like you're trying to push the fingertips through the ceiling. Keep the breath smooth and steady and natural. Then bring the arms away behind you, clasp the hands, or you can use your yoga belt between your hands. Lift your chest up and pull the arms down. Just stay there for a moment so you feel the stretch across the front of your chest. And then bow the head down inside the front leg and let your arms come overhead. Now don't force the arms mobility here, just feel your way into a stretch where you're lifting your arms away from your rib cage and your shoulder girdle. Hold it there for 3. Good, hold it there for 2. And for 1, release the arms, press from front foot to back foot, lift your arms back up into your warrior one position. Swivel onto the ball of the back foot and feel your back hip turn forward. Back leg straight if you can, heel elevated. Bring your hands into prayer position and tip your body forward diagonally, coming into leaning lunge. Press, glide and lift, warrior 3. Both hip bones pointing south towards the ground. Engage the core again, so you're pressing your belly and your lower back together. And then reach your arms out in front of you, turning your palms up towards the ceiling. Now dive your hands down towards the right leg, leaning your chin towards the shin. Point your left leg, standing splits. Good job. And then both feet together at the front of the mat. Sit low, chair pose, ready for second side. Take a big inhale, swing the arms up to the ears. Exhale, forward fold, hollow the belly down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands towards the shins, chest forward. Exhale, bring your hands to the ground, step back into high plank position. Lower Chaturanga Dandasana or knees supporting. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, make your way back into downward facing dog. Heels ground down, feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, chest moves back. Drop the right heel down, turning back toes forward by 20 degrees. Ground the front foot, inhale, warrior one. Lift both arms up towards the ceiling. Feel free to take the arms a bit wider and imagine that you're pulling the strap between the hands wide apart. Turn your palms backwards by dialing your thumbs from the inside to the outside. Now circle the arms wide, clasp the hands, non-intuitive grip behind the back. Inhale to lift the chest up. And as you exhale, bow your head down inside the front leg, letting your arms come up and overhead. Hold it steady here for 3. Good, keep rolling through the shoulders, lifting the arms away from the neck. 2. Good, back thigh lifting. 1. And then release the arms. Bring both arms back up into warrior 1 and pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Hands into prayer position, lean your body diagonally forward, leaning lunge. Feel an embrace, belly to lower spine. Press, glide and lift, warrior 3. Good. Option to bring your arms out in front of you and turn your palms up. If you're finding this is too wobbly, you can use 2 bricks underneath your hands on the floor. Now standing splits, dive your hands down to the ground, maybe holding your back left heel with one or with both hands. Good, just really moving into back leg strength, left leg flexibility. Good job. And then swing right foot to meet the left foot at the front of the mat. Sit low, chair pose, and swing the arms up towards the ears. And again, imagine that you're pulling a strap between the hands. You're building that shoulder strength and mobility. Forward fold, hollow the belly, bow the head down. Inhale to halfway lift, hands to shins, chest forward. Exhale, bring your hands to the ground. Step your legs back, downward facing dog. So let's come back to this pose archetype, downward facing dog, which is the beginning point for refining technique in your headstand. Like I said before, the head is below the heart, so this is a primary inversion or a foundational inversion pose. And just notice how your body feels in, or how you respond to the feeling of this. The slight pressure in the head. Notice if you can lean into your breathing, particularly down regulating by lengthening the exhale side of the breath. Notice as you breathe in, you get a feeling of space and lift, like the rib cage telescopes longer. And as you breathe out, you get more space to tilt the pelvis, to engage the core, to lift the pelvic floor. One more breath here, shaking out your neck so there's no neck tension. Good, and then bring your knees down towards the ground. Elbows towards the floor, and again measure out the elbows by swinging the forearm parallel to the front of the mat, just to check that both the elbows are genuinely shoulder distance apart. Clasp the hands, tuck your lower little finger in, and then pressing through the forearms. Again, the outer blade of the wrist wants to push down to the mat, and that will immediately press your shoulder heads backwards. Dolphin pose again. Lift your hips up and back behind you. Keep pressing through the forearms, elbows dig down to the ground. Now, if you come up and your elbows skid outwards, then you want to walk your elbows in a little bit more narrowly. We want the elbows to stay around shoulder distance apart. Take 5 slow breaths here. Head is off the ground. Feel free to bend the knees if you need to, so you can actively push your rib cage back towards your thighs. Good, and then 5 little dolphin press-ups now. So lifting your heels up nice and high as you exhale, dive your chin down to tap your thumbs. And as you inhale, lift back up into your dolphin. Exhale, lowering down, 4. Inhale to lift up, really push your chest back to your knees as you lift. Exhale to lower down, 3. Inhale, press and lift. Exhale, lower down, 2. Inhale, press and lift. Exhale, press and lower, 1. Inhale to lift and really push your ribs back towards your knees. You can be as high on your tiptoes as you need. And I want you to rock slightly, pushing the ribs back towards your legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Now bring your knees down, take a moment in child's pose and rest. You can pop a brick under your head if you like. Feel the ground beneath you and just let your mind become calm and centered and passive again. And
our yoga practice, we need to learn how to adjust our mindset so that we can meet the challenge in the intense moments with confidence, but we can also let go, wind down, relax, and soften in the softer moments. Good. And then slowly come forward. Now grab hold of your brick. If you don't have a brick, you just need to place your hands on the mat about that distance apart with the thumb outwards or horizontal and the index finger vertical. If you have a brick, if you've got a similar kind of shoulder width to me, probably one brick is okay. If you've got wider shoulders than me, you might want one brick long and the other that side. Or if you've got one of these yoga blocks, then you might find that actually this size yoga block is a good kind of spacing for your shoulders. So it really depends on your structure. Thumb below the base, index fingers around the side, space out the fingers, and then again, slip the elbows down to the ground. Notice the wrists want to buckle up. Try and press the wrist down. If you're finding the elbows immediately skid out, that would be a good reason to go wider with your block spacing. Press the forearms down, press the base of the wrist down, palms are flat. Tuck your toes, and again, dolphin pose, press your chest back towards your thighs. Let your head hang loosely, mid-air, and we're working on shoulder mobility here. So press your ribs back towards your legs. If you need to bend your knees and tilt your bum up a bit more to get more movement, ribs back to your thighs, then do that. And just see if you can stay here for 5 breaths. If you need to take a little rocking action, then do. There should be no pinching or pain in the shoulders. Good job. And then bring the knees down. Move the bricks away towards the side if you were using them. And then back to our original headstand shape. So forearms down, clasp the hands, tuck your lower little finger in. So both of your little fingers are forming a kind of double C shape into one another. And then we're keeping the head off the ground for this variation and for today. We're not coming into full headstand today. Press the outer blade of the arms down and the outer blade of the wrist down and feel your shoulder heads push back. Lift your hips up and then slowly lower the top of the head towards the hands, but hover the head just off the ground. Here you're building a little bit of shoulder strength, but I want you to focus on mobility where you push your shoulder heads back towards your armpits. See if you can hold it here. Your head is hovering 2 millimeters off the ground. 3, 2, and 1. And then bring the knees down and relax. Relax your head. There should be no strain in your neck. And let it go. So I am kind of purposefully structuring this course so that we're not just jumping into the pose, because if we did that straight away, we wouldn't relearn technique. We wouldn't have time to rebuild strength or build strength for the first time in the upper body. So we're layering in these stages so that when we do transition into the pose in the latter side of the course, you're coming in really mindfully, you're coming in with correct technique, and you're coming in with the support of strength in the upper body, which will prevent you from flinging your body into the pose using momentum and therefore more liable to injury. Good job. Slowly make your way back up through to center. Amazing. Swing the legs out in front of you. Hold the back of the legs, lift the chest up, lean back just to a kind of halfway point. This might be enough, or you might want to connect the legs together, lift the shins up level to the ground. That might be enough. Or you might want to bring your legs all the way up into Paripuranavasana. Lift your arms up towards your ears, hold here for 3. If you want to really add into the headstand theme, clasp the hands, elbows point up to the ceiling for 2. This is like pausing at the halfway lift point in a headstand when we transition up slowly. 1, really well done. Give yourself a big hug. Amazing. And then Janu Sirsasana. Straighten your right leg out in front of you, left foot inside your right thigh. Lift your arms up like you're throwing a ball behind your head. As you exhale, come forward and down. You might want to use your strap again around your foot and bow your head as far forward as feels good. We're looking for a big feeling of stretch through the back of your legs. Soften your shoulders. And then make your way back up. Switch over the legs, left leg forward, right foot to the inside of the thigh. I should have said on the other side, but you are welcome to sit on a block if you'd like to for this pose. If you find that your pelvis rolls back and your spine slouches, the block is a good idea here. Inhale to bring your arms up like you're throwing a ball behind your head. Exhale, forward fold over the leg. Good job. And then come all the way back up through to center. Both legs out in front of you. Take your hands about 30 centimeters behind you, fingers pointing backwards. Wrap your shoulder heads right back so your chest puffs up towards the ceiling. Imagine you're stretching the mat widthways apart with your hands. That might be enough. You'll feel your arms externally rotate, your chest is stretched, shoulder heads move back. You can either stay there or point your toes, lift your hips up towards the ceiling and come up into Purvottanasana. Hold it here for 3 slow breaths. Good job. And then bring the pelvis down. Again, option to sit on a block if you'd like to. Inhale to lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold over the legs or use a strap around your legs. If this pulls the back too much, feel free to bend the knees and lift the chest towards your thighs. Good job. And then slowly make your way back up through to center. Separate the legs out. Bring the arms forward and then slowly come all the way down towards the ground into Shavasana. Walk the shoulder blades out so the arms are loose. Slide the back of your skull away behind you into a slight chin tuck. Gently turn up the corners of your mouth. As you bring your awareness into the body, visualize each part of the body that your mind goes to becoming heavier and softer on the ground, like a drop of water being absorbed by the earth. The inversion category of poses is all about resisting gravity, flying high. Shavasana is this contrast where we surrender to the gravitational pull and we give ourselves wholeheartedly into the ground, relinquishing effort completely and finding a sense of ease. Now, to my mind, there is, like the Yang Yin symbol, an essence of the opposite pose or sensation at the heart of every other pose. So this feeling of melting, of letting go, of softness and ease now is something that you want to have at the heart of your inversion poses like headstand. So as you soften into Shavasana now, you are training the psyche and your energetic body for a feeling of ease and peacefulness whilst you're in the inversion-based poses such as headstand. So really soak this moment in now. And conversely, as you relax the body physically down into the ground in Shavasana, at the heart of Shavasana, we want the aliveness and the courage that is required to lift into poses like headstand at the heart of this moment now in Shavasana. So let the heart blaze brightly with confidence and courage as the physical body relaxes. Take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Tune into the rhythm of your breathing without changing the breath in any way. You are welcome to stay longer in Shavasana. This is your practice, your space. If you're ready to leave and close the practice with me, slowly roll over towards the side, coming into the fetal position. And then slowly press your hands into the ground, lift yourself up through to sit or kneel facing the screen. Welcome back. Bring your arms up towards the ceiling as you breathe in. Exhale to bring the hands into prayer position. And as your thumbs press into the center of the eyebrows, send forward a clear intention. Take a moment to appreciate your resilience, your strength, your determination, the spirit of the practice. And then bring the hands into prayer position in the heart center. And bow the head forward and down, offering up your practice to someone or something else. Om Yasho Balamastu. May there be strength and vigor in our practice and our lives. Really well done. Enjoy practicing session 1 in your 4-week course, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.